in this transition, we need encouragement. When the
Amen.
children, they are doing something, they expect you always to be beside them, clapping at each and everything they do. And it's only when you encourage them, they tend to go out and excel in their life. And this is the same for everyone. You may think encouragement is needed by only a smallest person, but encouragement is needed by each and every person. Even when the night Abraham Lincoln died, he was carrying his glasses. He was carrying $1 in his pocket. He had a pocket knife, and along with that, there were 8 newspaper clipping telling what a great president he was and who carried so much weight on his shoulders. He also needed encouragement, and that's why to get encouraged, he used to carry all the newspaper clipping in his pocket to be a positive person, and these newspaper clipping encouraged them. There was a man known as Robert Manry. Robert Manry was born to Methodist missionaries in India. He was a newspaper person writing many articles. He got bored of his work that he decided to set around the sailing around the Atlantic in a homemade boat. When he was making the boat, people laughed at him and they talked very negatively, telling, "How can you survive? You will not have any food. You will face the winds." The distance of 3,200 kilometers from America to Great Britain was a huge distance. Everyone was very vocally pessimistic. They discouraged him. But despite of that, he set sail. And when everybody was negative, there was one person. Just as he was leaving the boat pair, he came and told, "Happy born was brother, you'll make it." The journey continued for 78 days. And at the end of the journey, he thought he is all alone. But the moment he reached England, there were thousands of people to welcome him. And his own journey was recorded. And overnight, he became a star person in the whole of England. The command to encourage one another is repeated 5 times in the New Testament. And this translates to a Greek verb known as parakilo. This Greek verb is almost used 109 times in the New Testament in various ways. Basically, we need to remember a God is the God of all consolation, and He is the greatest encouragement, as it is said in 2 Corinthians 1:3. And this morning, I would like to share with you the greatest encourager in the Bible. Though he is a very insignificant person, yet he is mentioned 25 times in the book of Acts and 5 times in the epistle. This great hero, his name is Barnabas. Barnabas, his original name was Joseph, and he was a Levite from Cyprus. And because of the talent, the character of encouragement that he was having, the first church nicknamed him Barnabas, which means son of encouragement or an encourager. I would like to cover 3 situations in which Barnabas was the encourager. The first point I would like to tell is the encouragement of Barnabas in the finances. There was a great persecution going on when Saul was persecuting people and even Stephen was killed. Due to this persecution, the early church members, they ran away from that places. They hid themselves in caves, they hid themselves in other people, and many people were also put to death. And people spread all across the world, starting from Antioch to Cyprus to different places. And it was a very hopeless situation for the believers. And in such a hopeless situation, there was the Barnabas. Barnabas was a wealthy person who owned a land. Looking at the financial condition of the early church, he sold his land, and from the money what he got by selling his land, he laid it at the apostles' feet, so that for utilization for somebody who needs help. Basically, most of the times when we compare with our lives, we are only content with ourselves. We want to keep money for ourselves, for families, or brothers or sisters. Whatever we do for is for ourselves. And whenever we try to think the money that we are having, we always try to justify it as per our needs. But even Jesus said it is more blessed to give than to receive. And in Acts 20:35, it says the greater blessing belongs to the person who gives from a heart of compassion. And in this situation, Barnabas did not think about himself. Whatever he had, he sold it, and he gave the money, whatever he had, for the utilization by the early church. And because of which the early church grew, and many people came to know the Lord. So the first characteristics of Barnabas was he was an encouragement in the finances. Despite of all the tough times, he did not think about himself, and sacrificially he gave to the early church, because of which the church expanded. And there may be many people in our life who are in need of finances, and we should set an example by sacrificially giving in whatever way we can help them financially, not only to people but to the fellowship, but to the people who are involved in the ministry, so that we will be a blessing through the finances. Secondly, the characteristics of Barnabas was encouragement in fellowship. We are a group of believers meeting together in fellowship, refreshing ourselves in the Word of God. And if that frame has to keep on moving, we need encouragement in the fellowship. When Saul accepted the Lord dramatically, he disappeared from the scene for 3 years. Nobody knew where he had gone. But there were rumors that he was saved and he vanished. So the early church were very happy because there was no more persecution, because whatever persecution was going on, it was only because of Saul. But after 3 years, Saul was back in Jerusalem. And over and above, worse was he was trying to be part of the same fellowship of the early church whom he was persecuting. And by looking at them, the early church got very afraid, because they were not sure of his salvation, but they were afraid of all the things that he has done before, and they were afraid that he would continue to persecute. And in such a situation, there was one person who trusted Paul, and whatever he told, it was Barnabas who trusted Paul. He accepted Paul. He took him along with him to the early church, and there he told the way God has spoken to him and about his dramatic conversion, and also how in Damascus he had preached fearlessly in the name of the Lord. Basically, we feel very nice when people are not accepting us if somebody believes in us. Most of the times, we also end up in such a situation where nobody is ready to believe in you. Despite of you trying to tell the truth, nobody may be believing in you. But here, there was a person who was different from the others. He went out of way to believe him, and because of him, he was reunited with the fellowship. And together, as an early church, they did great and mighty things. Today, we also need to be a kind of person that Barnabas was. Rather than just thinking in the old ways, we need to take a risk and we need to recognize person who is in need of for support and try to go along with them. Even when Barnabas was sent by the early church to Antioch, because he was a very respected believer, he was sent to Antioch to see what are the things happening over there. When he went there and saw the things, he was thrilled to witness all that God has been doing in the lives of both the Jews and Gentiles. Rather than remaining quiet, he again gave a word of encouragement for the Antioch church and encouraged them to keep their eyes on God and to walk in His will. No matter what the cost of difficulties along the way, but Barnabas emboldened them with the courage to live for Jesus. This way, he encouraged the fellowship. And even when we read through the book of Acts, initially the book of Acts, the verses water comes, initially it tells us Barnabas and Saul. But as we further go ahead, especially when Barnabas was in Antioch, it starts telling Saul and Barnabas. There is a change in the order. Initially, Barnabas was the priority person, but now Saul is the priority person and Barnabas is a follower. When Barnabas went to Antioch and he saw the requirement of the people, he realized he had some deficiencies in him. He realized what his strengths are and what his weaknesses are. So rather than trying to fight with the weaknesses, he brought a man bigger than he was, bigger in talent, a genius, a person who had a bigger grasp of truth, and a person who had a bigger breadth of vision and bigger in boldness and action. It was Barnabas who called Paul to Antioch to take the leadership and set the pace for their missionary journey. Though Barnabas was a very renowned person and he had encouraged people with the words, that he did not think a second time when he invited Paul. Because now it was Paul who was going to be the leader and Barnabas was going to the follower. Most of the times in our lives, we always want to do things so that we are in the forefront. But there will be many things which are beyond our capacity. And being like Barnabas, rather than keeping us in the front, we need to, there will be a situation where we may need to be the back and the support the person so that effective things are done. Here, Barnabas did not think a second time of being a follower of Paul, but he brought Paul, made him the leader, and he followed him wherever he went, because of which the early church spread. We as a church, we need to think differently and encourage a person in whatever their abilities they are having. And this is a way a church will grow. And we need to be like Barnabas in encouraging people so that when we encourage people in the fellowship, they grow spiritually and do great things for the Lord. The third area that Barnabas encouraged was encouragement to the people who failed. The Paul and Barnabas were a great team doing the work of God, but they had a major disagreement, especially on John Mark. On the second journey of their missionary, Barnabas wanted to take John Mark along with Paul, but Paul was of a different opinion because the ministry was important and you needed trusted people. Whereas John Mark was there with them earlier in the ministry, but he deserted them and he went away. So this was a major source of disagreement between Paul and Barnabas. Paul did not want to take John Mark with them, whereas Barnabas was insisting that they take along John Mark. This disagreement finally led to the breaking of the team between Paul and Barnabas. Paul went ahead with Silas on his journey, whereas Barnabas went along with John Mark. If we see who was right, whether it was Paul or whether it was Barnabas, both were right in their own views. Logically, Paul was right because you cannot have a unreliable person in a very important task. And lovingly, Barnabas was right because you need to give a person a second chance. Barnabas went along with this failed person. He gave him the support that he needed. He gave him a chance to come back. And despite of the first failure, John Mark went ahead and became a great source of encouragement and help also to Paul. As we see in 2 Timothy 4:11, even Paul forgave Mark John. And when Paul was on the death sentence, he writes, "Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with you, for he is profitable to me for the ministry." A person who is a failure, who was of no use, but given the second chance and encouragement by Barnabas, became a profitable person and continue to do great things in the ministry. Even in the there may be people all around where people have failed or done wrong things, but we as an individual, we need to encourage the people to grow despite of their failures, so that they can do great things for the Lord. If we see the whole of the New Testaments, Paul has written 14 epistles and Mark wrote the Gospel. The majority of the Gospels and the epistles may not have been written if it was not for Barnabas' encouragement. Though a very insignificant person, yet because of his encouragement, many significant things have been written in the Bible. It's only because of his encouragement, because if he had not encouraged Paul and believed him and brought him to the not brought him to the early church, we really don't know where Paul would have gone and what he would have been doing. But it was Barnabas' encouragement that brought back Paul to the ministry. And even Mark, if he had not forgiven his mistake and continued to mentor him, maybe he would not have written the gospel. We owe a great thing to Barnabas as an encourager, because even if he didn't write a single thing, yet the power of encouragement was so high that all the epistles and the gospels have made a mark on their life. In the end, to summarize, I would like to just tell two instances. One was when the King George VI, who took over as the King of England, he had to take over because of the circumstances. His brother abandoned the throne and he ran away. And the country was on the brink of war. And with the increasing influence of the radio, they wanted a person who can speak well and be in control. But King George VI had a stammering problem. And despite of that, since they did not have any other person, he had to be made the king. But he struggled to overcome his speech difficulty was through the support of his wife and through the encouragement of his wife Elizabeth and the steadfast devotion. He was able to overcome the challenge and rule well during the war. And the second instance is William Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army. He was a great evangelist with the Methodist Church. Basically, he was good at preaching, but his heart was at evangelizing the people on the street. And when he asked for the Methodist Church to release him for evangelizing on the streets, the bishop refused to release him. an organization with which he was very long. He did not want to leave it. But because of his wife Catherine's encouragement, he walked down of the Methodist church with having nothing and started evangelizing on the street, because of which this great organization known as Salvation Army was formed. And today, Salvation Army is in the top 10 humanitarian organization of the world. If his wife wouldn't have encouraged him, then he would not have been able to come out of the depression and do great things. Even as we are listening to this word, we as a church, we need to think, where do we stand? Am I giving to others what has God has given me? God is my greatest encourager. He has encouraged me through answering my prayers, through various people, through His word. And as an individual, are we encouragers? Are we sharing with others what God has given to us? And today, if this ministry has to grow, if many people has to come to Christ, and if people have to do great things, it's only through a person who encourages others. And many times we may think, I don't need encouragement, I'm a very strong person. That we should not be under the false hope or a false stand where we try to tell, I don't need encouragement. Each and every person needs encouragement. Even Jesus needed encouragement. And today we need to stand as a pillar of encouragement to others, so that this ministry can grow and many people come to Christ through this ministry.